This is the road that leads to PARTHA'S hideout. Well, this is a motorable road all through. Roads are excellent. And then as you drive down here, this bend, and then you can visualize PARTHA'S hideout. It is right in front of you. Here on the left, of course, there is the stable for the horse, and there's a public toilet outside that is for outsiders. This is how you drive down. These are some woods that are getting ready to be used in the interiors, and as you are driving on, there you have quite a few parkings. You can park 8 to 10 cars, then there is more parking just around. So it's very difficult to get parking here, but we are going to make here the parking arrangements so you can keep comfortably your cars. And then we're going to make a driver's room here. We'll do it quickly, so people who drive down the drivers can stay overnight. And here is the main outside structure. Just inside is a large restaurant with 50 or more sitting arrangements. And down below, of course, there will be a big hall that is coming up, but will house a lot of people who can sit and dine, and also there will be a pool table for people to play pool. This is the main entrance, and as you enter, then you this is the structure. These are all being done up. The restaurant coming up, the kitchen coming up, and here is as you go down below. There are 2 double bedrooms in this room with wardrobes. Here, this is the arrangement. This is a large window opening into the valley where you can see Mirik and other places. So it's a huge window. You can see. And then here are 2 more beds. Here. And here is a sofa cum bed which can be opened up into another bed if required for a large family. And then here we have is another big window, you can see. And then there's a wardrobe again here, but then we can put a writing table here. So that completes the room arrangement. Now we go into the toilet. As you can see, it's completely solved. It is fitted with the exhaust, it's fitted with a geyser, and it's all done well. So here is how it looks, and the mirror and everything complete. All doors are wooden, polished from outside. Hello and welcome all of you to my YouTube channel, Animals and Pets with Partha. Today I am again back and with an episode. This episode is very close to my heart. It is about PARTHA'S hideout, a project that I have been working on for the past 1 year. Well, it is a dream that is slowly but certainly seems to be coming true. I have always dreamt to have a place up in the hills, whichever hills. There were 2 hills that I had actually thought of. One was Uttarakhand and then was Darjeeling. Of course, Darjeeling is the obvious choice because it is close to my where I stay, and it's just 1 night's travel or maybe a day's travel to reach my place. Well, finally, out of the 2 between the Uttarakhand and Darjeeling, of course, Darjeeling finally was my choice. Well, for many various reasons. First of all, Darjeeling has the variety. It is in the lower Himalayas, and it's a fantastic range of mountains. The Kanchenjunga is an attraction for visitors from around the country and the world. Well, it is something which has not been really explored. The tourism prospects of this vast region has never been fully tapped. There is so much to see and so much to sort of enjoy. There's so much of wildlife, there's so much of bird life, there's so much of greenery all around. Well, Darjeeling, as you know, has been a jewel in the crown of the British Raj. And the Britishers, when they ruled India, they had Darjeeling as a place for their, the nobles, the royals, and the Rajas and the Maharajas, everybody. It was a summer home for all the rich and the powerful that was there at the time. Well, if you look at Darjeeling, the old heritage buildings, the structures that, takes you hundreds of years back, and you start thinking, well, they used to look like this, and you still see the same thing. They're still there. They cannot be brought down. It means the place, the Chaurasta, what they call, or the mall, what they call, which is the happening place, is this empty space, which is the Chaurasta. Everything happens there, and all around you have shops that have been there for hundreds of years. At least, the owners may have changed, the owners have died, several generations have changed. Some have remained with the same people, many have changed hands, but the structure remains the same. There is the Glenaries, the cake shop, the food shop, that is, is still booming with business. The variety of food is just unbelievable. Then you see Kevinters, where people sit there for breakfast and look at the Kanchenjunga, and then, it is something worth going back and back whenever you visit Darjeeling. From my childhood days, Darjeeling has always held a very special place, very close to my heart. And whenever I got the opportunity, of course, I have been there. But I can recall about 20 years back when I first judged a dog show in Darjeeling, in the Gymkhana Club, which was a big dog show. And there were lots of entries and lots of dogs that traveled from Calcutta and all around to be there, to participate in that show there. Well, it was good because it gave an awakening to this hill station and a knowledge about purebred dogs. Well, Darjeeling has a heritage of dogs also, and the breed is the Lhasa Apsos. There are the Bhutia Basti. There is the Tibetan settlements in Darjeeling, which, they have a big community of Tibetans that live there. And they are dog lovers. A lot of these Tibetan monks have dogs. I have seen them having this, a lot of these Himalayan dogs, big dogs, and small dogs. And the small dogs are the Lhasa Apsos. The Lhasa Apsos, as you know, is world famous. It's there in every part of the world. And they all started by people took these dogs from Darjeeling as a gift. The Lhasas traveled from Darjeeling, from Bhutan, and all these areas to various parts of the world. Usually they went first of all, they were given as, they took them back. A lot of foreigners took them back to their countries, looking they were lovely little dogs, strong dogs, and with a lot of spirit, a lot of fire in them, and really they're very great guard dogs. Means you love them.
But then, of course, they have the coat. And the coat actually protects them from the cold weather. The Darjeeling, Bhutan and all these places which are cold, primarily cold. So they need coat. So you see a lot of these animals, any animal you see, any dogs, they have they have more fur than in what you see in the plains. And then you have even the cows and other things that you see. They also seem to have some hair here and there. So it's the weather that requires that heavy coverage, protection from the blistering weather. Well, these little fiery little dogs, of course, have made history for the canine world around the means in every country. And in India, of course, we had I can remember when I was a little child and very young boy, and just out of school and started going to dog shows. We had this Champion Ridge, which I think at least 5 or 6 years, he won all the best in shows that ever happened in the city of Calcutta. And that Champion Ridge was taken and sold to one Mr. Pramanik, of course, and for only on a paltry amount of 300 rupees. And it was collected from the Bhutia Basti in Darjeeling by one Mr. Molloy Roy. Molloy Roy, of course, has passed away. And I have a video on Ridge where I have actually shown the picture of Champion Ridge. And Champion Ridge was applauded by all the international visiting judges from UK and the US and wherever. They all Australia, everybody, whoever came and judged in those times, great personalities like Mr. Stanley Dangerfield or, whoever, Dr. Boris Boschel from USA and other countries. They all Champion Ridge was something that was untouchable at the time and could not be beaten, and it was really world class. Well, that legacy, of course, has, of course, due to indiscriminate and unplanned breeding of Lhasa Apsos in this part of the country, in Darjeeling and all these areas, you don't get that quality today, except some do still have those dogs, but they do not realize the potential of the dogs and what it can achieve. Anyway, well, let me come to Partha's Hideout. So now all these things and all this finally convinced me to have something in close to Darjeeling. And somehow I landed up, there's a friend of mine here, Mr. Sandeep Lakotia, who was a veterinary medicine shop. And when he took me to this place in Dhotre, near Rangbul, from Rangbul you get about 7.5 kilometers down to a Nepalese Basti, Gorkha place, where its primarily population is Gorkhas, and it's a very peaceful part of the world where it's less populated and of course beautiful road. And not only that, it has a lot of wildlife around. So all this attracted me, and then of course I went on building this Partha's Hideout. Today, all these pictures that you are seeing that I have uploaded, they are of that property that has come up, and we have opened up on 26th of December to public. We have a few rooms that we are already letting out, and within this month of February, we hope to finish the entire project by the end of February, and by March we should be able to commission all the things. And we have a restaurant. We have a 50-seater restaurant, multi-cuisine restaurant, which will be, of course, there'll be some cooks who have worked as cooks in other big cities like Bombay and other places. Well, there are a lot of Nepalese who actually go in search of greener pastures, and they have worked in restaurants and they have worked as chefs finally, and then they of course keep coming back to their home place, which is this part of the country. And if they get a job here close to home, of course they would love to stay back. So they are going to be the cooks there. So you're going to enjoy a really top-class cuisine in this restaurant. Well, enjoy these pictures, enjoy, and then, well, we have something special. Without animals, of course, with animals and pets with Partho. That is the YouTube channel handle name. And we have been given one more handle, which is Dog Judge Partha. Well, the animal that you see here is a very, very dear pet of mine. It is PYARA, the Bhutia pony. I always dreamt of having a pony, or a horse. My great-grandfather had 45 horses, because in those days horses were the means of transport. All the aristocratic families, the Britishers and the Rajas and the Maharajas and higher people in society, they all rode on horse carriages, carriages drawn by horses, and their carriages would be decorated, gold-colored and silver-colored and glass, and so he had 45 horses. Of course, it's nowadays for somebody to think of owning a horse in cities is practically impossible, because it's not only there is space, there is grazing places, there is a lot of greeneries where they can graze and enjoy life. So this remote corner of the country where I have now put up this Partha's Hideout, PYARA enjoys his life. I actually bought him from people who use horses as work horses. They are made to lift stones and sand from little rivers, mountain rivers that flow. And all that stones and that accumulate there, they are actually carried by these work horses. So when I wanted to own a horse, and I decided these were the right horses because they are very adapted to the climate here. And they're very strong and hardy, and they have a lot of balance. They're sort of climbing up this uphill mountainous paths. They are very, they're not very tall. And then, the idea is if, for my visitors, that they will have a lot of children, small children, even, men who just love to sit on a horse and maybe walk a few steps here and there. So, of course, a horse that is, it's not too big, so they don't have to jump onto that horse and things like that, because they're never used to it and they wouldn't want to do it. So for a small horse, and of course it has to be strong to carry a big person, I thought this was suitable, and PYARA fits the bill. So he's there. He's sort of, I won't say. People say I've rescued him from that hard life that these work horses actually have to undergo. But then he lives a wonderful life. He's fed, looked after. He's a caregiver. His name is Anil Rai. Anil Rai is actually offered this land to me where I build the Partha's Hideout. So he's actually looking after this lovely little horse, and whenever I am there, I always sort of love patting him, and maybe once or twice I do sit and just take him on small walks and things like that. So it's been a wonderful experience going through this process of building Partha's Hideout. Please enjoy it, and I welcome all guests who want to spend a few days in this part of the country. We have lovely waterfalls called the Indrani Falls. You can check them out on Google. You can Google them and you can read about them. They're beautiful. They're fantastic places, and you have deers just roaming across all around the place, and nobody disturbs them. Actually, of course, they are quite afraid of humans, but they still they will show up You just once you while you're walking up and down or maybe driving through, you see all this wildlife around, and the birds, and the hundreds of varieties of native birds, colors that you realize that if you hadn't been to this part of the world, you wouldn't be able to see such fantastic birds with such mesmerizing colors. Well, let me end today. It's been a long video, and after a while, so enjoy, and I look forward to welcoming you at PARTHA'S Hideout. My numbers are there, and then you can call up, and then I sort of share all the other details that you may like to have. Of course, soon we'll have a website, and I will be sharing the website address to you on my YouTube channels and everywhere. So you can just go onto the website and do your bookings and be here and spend a day or two with me, in this wild place. Bye bye for now, and see you sometime.